This is level N and we're doing list 10, day 1. And our words are all ending with ER, and most of the time when a word ends with ER, not all the time, but a lot of the time, it means someone who. So someone who camps is a camper. Someone who jumps is a jumper. But it could also mean a jumper like this as well. Someone who farms is a farmer. Someone who reads is a reader. Someone who paints is a painter. Someone who cleans is a cleaner. Someone who bowls is a bowler. Someone who learns is a learner. Someone who fishes is a fisher. And in the olden days it was quite commonly a man, so fisherman. Carpenter is someone who builds things with wood. Now the word carpenter comes from, it's an old word, because initially carpenters were people who made carriages. So that's where we get why it has the word car in that word. Now a camper, it could be a type, something that you might stay in when you go camping, or it could be someone who likes to go camping. So jumper is, as we said, it could be a jumper, an item of clothing that you'd wear to keep yourself warm in winter, but it could mean someone who jumps, like you might say, oh, he's a good high jumper, so he's good at jumping. I don't think there's any other tricky ones down there. Now, if we have a look at the things we need to look at within these words, we know that if the letter after a kut sound is an A, O, U, L, R, we use a C before it for the kut sound. P is pretty easy. Farmer, you've got that R-controlled vowel there, so it's a long vowel sound, so we only have that M after it. Reader, you've got the EA making the long E sound there. Painter, you've got the AI making the long A sound. Cleaner, you've got the EA again making the long E sound. Bowler, you've got the OW making the O sound. Learner, you've got the EAR making the sound. Fish, man is in the middle there, you've got the SH there. Carpenter, you've got the AR in there making that R-controlled vowel, long vowel sound. Right, let's go back now and look at reading, writing or reading, sounding, writing those words. So we've got camper, so let's break them into syllables. Camp-er. So of course we'd be splitting these words, we keep the base word together and the suffix would be split off. So we've got camp-er, jump-er, farm-er. We quite often give this sound a schwat sound, but really, if we said it correctly, it would be easier to spell. So if we pronounce that rather than giving it a sound, it will make it more accurate to spell. So let's go. Camper, C-A-M-P-E-R, C-A-M-P-E-R, C-A-M-P-E-R. Cover it, write it. So write the base word, and then add the And the last one we're going to try doing it in running writing. So we go C, over for the A like a wave crashing back around. Do the handle into the M, 2 hills for the M. P goes down, we do a hill, E, R, and smile off. In list 10, day 2, and we're looking at adding ER onto the end of all of these words. And when we add ER onto the end of a word, it usually indicates someone who. So someone who camps is a camper, someone who jumps is a jumper, but a jumper can also mean a piece of clothing that you wear in winter to keep you warm, and it doesn't have an opening down the front. That's what makes it a jumper. We've got farmer, reader, painter, cleaner, bowler, learner, fisherman, and carpenter. Now, we talked about the meaning of carpenter yesterday, and we've put a little hint down the bottom for you here too. So carpenter comes from the late Latin meaning carriage maker. Carriages were often made from, and you know what, you can probably guess what the answer is to that one. Okay, let's have a look at any of the other things that we can see happening in these words. We know we use a J for the J sound commonly at the start of a word there, so that's okay. Farmer, we've got a long vowel R controlled vowel sound, A-R. Reader, we've got the EA making its long vowel sound. Painter, we've got the AI making the long A sound in the middle of a word. Cleaner, once again another EA for the long E sound. Bowler, O is OW. Learn, this is another R controlled vowel where we're using EAR for the R controlled vowel there. Fisherman, we've got the sh there. So you've got that extra word on the end, man. Carpenter, we have the AR is an R controlled vowel there. If you broke that up, you'd have carpenter. Because we've got a short vowel here, we close the syllable with a consonant. Okay, so most of those words, if you were breaking them into syllables, it would occur camper, so we'd probably be splitting them with the on the end. Okay, let's go through and sound those words and spell them and write them. So we've got camper, break them into syllables and then do your spell. C-A-M-P-E-R, C-A-M-P-E-R. Once you've finished those off, you can complete the crossword using the picture clues. So this is, rather than having words, we've used pictures. So you can see this boy, number 2, sitting at his desk, doing some schoolwork. He's probably a learner. So you know to put one letter per box there. Down the bottom, write the list word to match the synonyms. So we've given you joiner, cabinet maker, woodworker. Which word would best fit in there? So synonyms are words that mean the same. This is level N, list 10, and we're doing the day 3 page. And in this set of words, we're adding the ER to the end of a base word. So sometimes you might give that a schwatz sound, so you might say camper rather than camper. But if you can remember to pronounce it correctly, it'll make the spelling much easier. If you're going to keep giving it the schwatz sound, you have to remember that you've got to add the ER at the end. So we've got camper, jumper, farmer, reader, painter, cleaner, bowler, learner, fisherman, carpenter. So let's go through and just highlight some of the extra things we can see happening in those words. So you know you're going to use a C for the kut sound before an A because there's a C hidden inside the A. So we always use a C before an A, O, U, L or R. In farmer we've got the AR, the R controlled vowel, so that's making a long sound. Reader, we've got the EA making its long vowel sound E in there. Painter, we've got the AI for the long A vowel sound in the middle of the word. Cleaner, we've got another EA for the long E sound. Bowler, we've got the OW there. Learn, we've got the R control vowel EAR, so it's making a long vowel sound. In fisherman, we've got the SH, which should be easy for you by now. Carpenter, you've got the AR in the carpenter. AR making that long vowel sound with the R controlled vowel. Okay, no other tricks in there for you. It shouldn't be too hard a list for you. Let's go through and read the words, sound the words and spell them. You'll need to break them into their parts, the syllables. So we're going camper, so sounding the base word as one and the suffix as a separate part of the word. So we're going camper, jumper. So if we were to break these into parts, we'd put it at the end of that base word, camper. Okay, so let's go CAMPER, cover it, write it, and then check to make sure that it's spelled correctly. Now add the apostrophe to some of the sentences and rewrite the word. So you'll see here the campers' fires were extinguished by the rain. I've put some hints over here for you. If it's one thing, like one cat, then the base word will be cat. So you always put the apostrophe at the end of the base word, so it would go before the S. If you have more than one cat, the base word will be cats. So the apostrophe always goes at the end of the base word, which means it would go after the S. So that's in a regular plural noun. But sometimes we have irregular plural nouns where we go man, we have one man and the base word would be man. so the apostrophe would go after the N, and then we add the S. But if we have men, men is the irregular plural form of man, so the base word would be men, as you can see here, and the apostrophe always goes at the end of the base word, so it would go before the S as well. So just be careful as you're going through those, and you might need to discuss them within your group. So down here we've got make the word and write a sentence to show its meaning, and then so you're going to end up with carpentry. Down here you've got to combine these with a list word, and you may need to discuss those within your group as well. This is level N, list 10, and we're doing the day 4 page on apostrophes, and we're revising all the apostrophes, whether it be for contractions, possession, for single possession, or for plural possession. So if you want to join IM together, you're going to make the word I'm, and you're going to put the apostrophe in where you've taken out the letter. If you're talking about one David and his coat, the coat belongs to one David, then the base word will be David, and the apostrophe always goes at the end of the base word. Jess, now because that name ends with an S, all you have to do there, and there's only one Jess obviously, so we're going to put the apostrophe after the base word, and you can choose whether you put another S or not there. I've chosen not to. Now if you're talking about lots of dogs, then the base word will be the plural form dogs, so the apostrophe always goes after the base word. If it's plural, it must go after the S. The fireman's hoses, so the base word is firemen for the plural, men is the plural of man, so the rule is that the apostrophe always goes at the end of the base word, and if it's a plural base word, the apostrophe would go after the N and before the S. So the fireman's hoses. So what you have to do is you have to read this passage. I'll read it through with you to make sure that you can read the words, and you've got to put in the apostrophes whenever they're missing. So I'll read it through with you now, and then you can go back and put in the apostrophes. I'm just going to do the first sentence. A handsome stag couldn't, now I know couldn't is short for could not, so it should have an apostrophe where we've taken out the O, so I'm going to put that in there. A handsome stag couldn't stop looking at his reflection in a lake. The stag's antlers, now it's only one stag, so the base word will be stag, so the apostrophe must go at the end of the base word, so it's going before the S. The stag's antlers were magnificent. He'd often say to himself, I'm the best stag in the woods, but for my spindly legs. The stag's legs were skinny, but strong. One day a hunter's arrow whizzed by the stag's head. The stag thought he couldn't run fast enough to escape the hunter's arrows. As he raced into the woods, the stag's antlers got caught on a tree's branches. He didn't think he would live long if he couldn't free himself. He hadn't much time. Finally, the stag's struggling worked, and his antlers were free. He didn't waste any time in racing away from the hunter. The stag's strong legs saved him. If it weren't for his magnificent legs, he may not have survived. The stag told all his friends how his powerful legs had saved him. Now stag's legs are valued as much as stag's antlers by all the deer in the woods. Unfortunately, many hunters' arrows still aim for the elusive deer in the forest. Now, there are 21 missing apostrophes in here, so go through on your own and have a go at finding as many as you can, and then perhaps get together as a group and help each other to find the whole 21 apostrophes.